Mr. Mayor, we live.
All right. Today is February 1st, 2023. The time is 7:06 p.m. and I am calling to order the Baldwin Park City Council regular meeting. Pastor Flores, do you mind leading us in an invocation?
Thank you, Mayor. It would be a privilege and a blessing. And let's keep in mind those who are facing challenges like physical challenges like Terry Muse and other people in our city as well too. Salmo 23 dice, Jehová es mi pastor, nada me faltará. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Ciertamente el bien y la misericordia me seguirán todos los días de mi vida, y en la casa de Jehová moraré por largos días. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Gracious God, we thank you for this privilege and opportunity where we can experience your mercy and your grace one more day, one more evening. I thank you for our city council, our mayor, all of our public servants, those who serve in the field, those who serve in the office. We thank you for their desire, their commitment, their passion to honor you by serving well. We pray for our city today, Lord, the challenges that our city faces and our citizens, many of which suffer physically, mentally, emotionally. Pray for healing and strength today, moment by moment, experience your presence. Guide our council tonight, guide our mayor today, Father. We commit this time to you in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, go ahead and do a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Estrada.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Avila.
And I believe Councilwoman Avila will not be able to join us today, so I will go ahead and make a motion to excuse her. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any objections? Not. Go ahead and continue. City Clerk.
Councilmember Ayala.
Here.
Councilmember Damian.
Here.
Thank you for that. So, City Attorney, at this point, we have not adjourned our closed session, but is there anything to report out at this point?
That's correct, Mayor. We will be re-adjourning on one matter, which I will note. But with respect to the other items, the closed session agenda is listed on the special meeting agenda. The items are listed there. In the matter of Kuberry, Hemingway, and Finley et al. Versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council wishes to announce that settlement agreements have been finalized with the remaining plaintiffs in this matter. All members voted to authorize the settlement agreements except for Councilmember Damian, who did not participate in the discussion or vote on this matter, since one of the plaintiffs is a source of income to his business and these cases were litigated globally. The settlement agreements provide that the remaining settling plaintiffs will dismiss their cases against the city and forever bar them from pursuing any related claims, and admit that the city did not engage in any unlawful conduct related to the claims. In return, the following plaintiffs will be paid settlement payments in the following amounts: Plaintiff Adams, $99,000, Plaintiff Finley, $99,000, and Plaintiff A.R. Doe, $99,000. This now disposes of all the claims related in this case. There were a total of 8, and so now all of the plaintiffs have settled. The original amounts that were filed requesting was $18 million that were later reduced to around $4 million or so. And so the total settlement amounts were about $770,000, far less than what was requested. In the matter of Tuan Lee versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council previously approved a settlement agreement in the terms of which were announced at the January 21st meeting, thus it was not discussed. In the matter of Satina Huerta Jimenez et al. Versus City of Baldwin Park, there was no report on this matter as it was not discussed. Maybe can put on a later agenda. In the matter of Rukli versus City of Baldwin Park, the City Council heard an update on that case from the City Special Cannabis Council. Council provided direction and there is no reportable action. I should mention that all members were present for this discussion. In the matter of Tier 1 Consulting and David Jew versus City of Baldwin Park, City Council heard an update on that case from the City Special Cannabis Council. The council provided direction and there's no reportable action. All members were present except for Councilmember Avila, I'm sorry, as well as Councilmember Avila was not present with the Rukli discussion. In the matter of the terms proposed for appointment and contract for housing manager, there is no reportable action. However, the appointment and the contract itself are on tonight's open session agenda. With respect to the last item, which was a public employee performance evaluation for the chief of police, this is the matter that we ran out of time for, was not discussed, and so we will carry that over to the end of tonight's meeting. That concludes the report.
Thank you for that, City Attorney. So at this moment, we do move on to our announcements. We have our proclamations, commendations, and presentations, and we do have a proclamation for National Black History Month proclamation.
Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can I go ahead and close on behalf of a community member now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I want to thank Pastor Flores for his continued commitment to serving the city of Baldwin Park and attending today's meeting, even as his family grieves the loss of their matriarch, and I want to close on her behalf. Armida Chavez Flores was born on March 29, 1937 in Los Angeles, California. She was born to Angel Santana Chavez and Licia Vasquez Chavez and was the fifth born of 9 children. Armida attended Los Angeles public schools and graduated from Roosevelt High School. The Chavez family was blessed with the gift of music, and they used that gift for the honor and glory of the Lord Jesus Christ. As a child, Armida became known as La Pianista due to her piano playing skills, and it was a blessing everywhere she went. Armida sang a soulful and strong alto and was part of the Chavez family's musical group, the Kings Four, with her brothers. They recorded an album, sang at churches and revival services, and even performed at the Hollywood Bowl. And the reason why this is so important to mention is because of what she and Aureliano and their family would found in the city of Baldwin Park. And, you know, it's part of her and the family's legacy here in our community. Aureliano and Armida fell in love and married on September 1st, 1957. They immediately left for Texas and where Aureliano had been assigned as a pastor of a church. They gave birth to David Aureliano Flores, Jonathan Edward Flores, Paul Angel Flores. And then they started the Church of the Redeemer on November 20th, 1961 here in Baldwin Park. Armida then gave birth to John Manuel Flores, Ernest Richard Flores, and their only daughter, Licia Marie Flores. Armida worked for the Baldwin Park School District as a school secretary at Tracy Elementary School and then at Bursch Elementary School, from which she retired. Her children were known by her coworkers as the kids with that amazing mom. Her children would find her on many occasions in the Little League stands, watching them playing baseball, in the bleachers at Baldwin Park High School, watching their daughter cheer, in the auditorium listening to her children play music, or at a perfect spot on the parade route watching them marching in the band or as a drum major, or at the top of the Coliseum tunnel waving the victory sign as her children marched in the USC band, or sitting in the audience as they graduated from schools. So I just want to say that Armida will, she's left her legacy here in our community, not only with her children, who she loved dearly, as you can see through this bio, the family that loved her dearly, but also the impact that she made in this community and all the people that she served and all the lives that she impacted. And so we definitely want to close on her behalf And we want to thank the Flores family for sharing her with us for all these years.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And of course, we want to express our condolences to Pastor Flores and his family. And, very important to acknowledge that your family and, of course, your parents have started a strong legacy here, and very important and beneficial to the city of Baldwin Park, what they have started and helped out. I've seen it firsthand, and making sure that the community is okay even during the toughest of times. So for that, we are forever thankful, and we will forever remember your family for that. Continuing at this moment, we do have a proclamation, National Black History Month proclamation presented to Housing Commissioner Laura Ann Franklin. So Commissioner Franklin, if you can come up here and join me. You over there, Marco? Part of this. So as we know, Laura Franklin is our housing commissioner, and for the first time in a very long time, when we've activated the housing commission, one of the applicants, and I was very lucky to swear you in. So we're glad you are here and involved in not just housing, but everything else. So of course, we do want to proclaim February 2023 as National Black History Month. Whereas each February, National Black History Month serves as both a celebration and a powerful reminder that Black history is American history. Black culture is American culture, and Black stories are essential to the ongoing story of America. And whereas shining a light on Black history today is as important to understanding ourselves and growing stronger as a nation as it has ever been, that's why it's essential that we honor the legacies and achievements of all generations. Whereas across the generations, countless Black Americans have demonstrated profound moral courage and resilience to help shape our nation for the better. Today, Black Americans serve our communities and our nation at every level and field across the board, business and law, health and education, arts and science, and many more. And whereas our nation was founded on the idea that all of us are created equal and deserve to be treated with equal dignity throughout our lives, therefore, we are encouraged to openly and honestly work together as one to deliver fairness and respectfulness for all. And whereas, let us continue to fight for the opportunity and dignity to which every Black American is due in equal measure. Let us carry forward the work to build an America that is bold, fierce, and free. Now, therefore, I, Emmanuel J. Estrada, Mayor of the City of Baldwin Park, along with Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia, Council Members Alejandra Avila, Jean M. Ayala, Daniel Damian, City Clerk Christopher Sands, City Treasurer Joanna Valenzuela, do hereby proclaim the February 2023 as National Black History Month. City of Baldwin Park, and encourage all residents, community members, public officials, and educators to observe this month with appropriate programs and activities. Some words for us?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Estrada and the City Council of Baldwin Park, as well as the residents that live here. It is an honor to not only stand on the shoulders of my mother and father, but also on the shoulders of the other African Americans that live here, as well as the community of Baldwin Park abroad. I know this is new to our community, and I am, again, honored to be able to celebrate this. And, just moving forward now as we get ready to celebrate at the end of this month, we are celebrating our history while making history. But we're also planting seeds in this community that can grow and create a legacy that I can pass on to my kids and my grandkids, as well as you all. So again, thank you. And it is an honor. So God bless you guys.
Yeah, we're going to take a, yeah. And we do want to thank our Commissioner Franklin for being so involved and making something very important, which is not just the history, the diverse history of our city, but there is also a lot of rich, particularly African-American and Black history here in the city of Baldwin Park. So I just want to reiterate and kind of touch base on some of our Black former elected officials, and those are the McNeils. We had Mr. McNeil, who passed away, and interestingly enough, it was his wife that was able to take over his seat. So there's a lot of rich history here, not just in our government, but also in our schools and in our athletics. So I want to thank you once again, because I know you are making the effort to shine on light on a lot of that this month. So thank you for that. And now we are going to move on to our consent calendar, and we have oh, yes, you're right. At this moment, I will open public communication. City Clerk, is there anybody looking to speak?
Mayor, we have not received any emails nor speaker cards.
Great. So at this moment, if you didn't fill out a speaker card and you would like to speak, now is your time.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council and community. In celebration of African American and Black History Month, the LA County Library will be celebrating with a series of online and in-person programming. Launching our programming is a virtual program which will take place tomorrow, Thursday, February 2nd from 4 to 5 p.m. This is a program for ages 8 and up. A storyteller, Ina Buckner Barrett, will be presenting on the oldest Black-owned town in U.S. history. This is a town that was west of the Mississippi. It's Nicodemus, Kansas, and she'll be sharing her family history as well as the history of the United States with the first Black-owned town. Then in person at Baldwin Park Library on Tuesday, February 7th, from 3:30 to 4:30, we will be having a program brought to us by the LA County Probation Department, as well as the LA County Library's My Brother Keeper initiative. It's a program for teens embracing Black hair and wellness. It will be for those who have all different hair types, but especially embracing Black hair and the natural hair movement. And in addition to a discussion about hair and wellness, there'll be a journaling activity. Space is limited, and we do request that people make reservations in advance, but you're always welcome to join us. And then I mentioned at the last council meeting that Baldwin Park was going to be having free tax preparation. Just a reminder that it will be taking place this Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. Anybody who makes less than $56,000 can come into the library, and volunteers will help create their tax forms and submit them digitally. So if you know anybody that this applies to, please send them to the library. And this will take place again in March if you're not available this Saturday. And then with February also being Valentine's Day on the 14th, the library would just love to have people send in testimonies about how much they love the library. And if you do so, you can win a goodie bag, including LA County Library merch. So if you have any positive statements, please feel free to come into the library and we can get them from you, or submit them online. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Hey, thank you for that. Anybody else looking to speak? Yes, any comment, any general comment?
Jesse Plata, resident of Baldwin Park. I probably lived here probably longer than some of your ages. And what I came here about was we just had elections. And yes, it's a couple of months ago, but the council up there that put in a thing about doing away with the election for a mayor, rotating. Now, Isn't that un-American? Isn't that taking away my vote? I thought democracy was to have the right to choose who we want to represent us. I think that's terrible. Now, I have said before about our police department, law enforcement. I support the police, law enforcement. The whole thing is to get the right people in there to do the job correctly. I don't know what the count is right now, how many chiefs we have versus how many Indians out there really patrolling, doing the job. Seems like everybody just put somebody else in position, and your job is to cover my back. And that's from Mr. Mayor on down. They are supposed to do a job. And if it doesn't go with what you want, maybe you should take a close look and learn from it. People that come up here and sometimes that voice their opinion, you just look at them and say, find out what's bothering that person. And I've seen it twice where the city goes and offers them something in return to drop their concerns. They even tried it with me. Why do people ask me that don't even know me to show up for presentation, veterans? That ain't the way. You just throw money at the veterans. You print out a leaflet with a plaque and give it to them. Is that it? That's the way that I've been seeing it here. I never seen any of you. There's only an American Legion office now, post. I never seen any of you there spending money from your personal pocket, throwing money at them and saying you support them. And if they don't produce, well, that failure is on you.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anybody else looking to speak?
Bueno, voy a hablar corto y rápido.
I'll be brief and I'll do this fast.
Creo que estamos haciendo buen trabajo en la ciudad, pero todavía hay más que hacer alrededor de la ciudad.
I think we're doing a good job in the city, but there's still things to be done around the city.
En la Ramona y la Puente, ahí están unas trailers de se renta, no sé qué hagan ahí, pero se ve un poquito feo. Hay
At
que
Ramona
limpiar.
and La Puente, there's some trailers. I think they're being they're rentals or something like that, but they don't look, they look ugly.
Ya necesitamos limpiar ese lugarcito porque se ve un poco mal.
That area needs to be cleaned up because it doesn't look right.
También cuando yo paso en la mañana veo todavía muchos vendedores en la calle vendiendo sus frutas, sus champurrados, sus tamales.
Morning when I go by, I still see vendors outside on the street selling their fruits and champurrado and well,
Tamales, frutas, todo
oh,
eso.
and tamales.
Y llamo a veces al Code Enforcement y nunca me contestan y no sé si están ocupados o no sé qué pasa con ellos.
I called code enforcement and they never answer me. I don't know if they're busy or what's going on with them.
Anthony, hay que echarle más ganas a la ciudad para que continuemos limpiando.
Anthony, let's try it harder, so the city can be cleaned up. It can.
También estoy viendo que la Mayor Pro Tem no se presenta y debería estar aquí, que la que reemplaza al mayor.
I have seen that the Mayor Pro Tem is not here, and she should be here. She should be present because she's the one that would replace the mayor.
Y vamos a continuar limpiando todavía donde les comenté el meeting pasado que todavía está muy sucio ahí por entrar a Puente y el sign de la Walmart. Todavía tenemos muchos jóvenes ahí metidos en el tubo.
And I'll just continue to reiterate what I said last meeting, the cleanup over at La Puente and where the sign is, right there of Walmart, they're inside this pipe or tubing.
Ok, también tengo una pregunta. Si podían ponerme un poste de luz en la Garden View, porque yo pago mi luz de mi bill y de ahí no tenemos luz.
I would also like to ask if a pole, a lighting pole could be placed or installed at Garden View. I also pay for lighting, I pay my, for it to be installed.
Cuando estaba el mayor Lozano, el de antes, le comenté eso y al Pacheco y nunca hicieron nada. A ver si ahora lo hacemos.
When we had the prior mayor Lozana and Pacheco, I commented this and it was never done, so hopefully this time it can be done.
Es todo, gracias.
That's all, thank you.
All right. Anybody else looking to speak? Not at this moment. I will move to close public communication. And we will go to consent calendar. And we do have 3 items. Is there any item council is looking to pull from the consent calendar? If not, we will pull item number 3, and I will make a motion to pass items 1 and 2, excluding 3. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayala.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great, thank you for that. Enrique, do you want to go ahead and take the lead on item number 3?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 3 is the recommendation that the council approve the employment agreement for the housing manager. Her name is Imelda Delgado. She comes to us from the city of Pico Rivera. And the salary that is being recommended is $9,789 with 79 cents per month, or $117,477 with 53 cents per year. And this is contained in the salary matrix that applies to all of the positions publicly available. And she is expected to start on on February 21st, though the proposed agreement has it as February 20th. Just wanted to verbally make that clarification. February 20th happens to be a holiday, and we do not work on the 20th, so she will start officially on February 21st if the council approves the agreement.
Great, okay. Is there any questions from council? If not, I will make a motion to pass item number 3. I'm acknowledging the correction of February 21st and not February 20th due to holiday. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayala.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. Thank you for that, City Clerk. So at this moment, we do go into our reports of officers. And we have a adoption of resolution number 2023-003 for city council appointments of official representatives and alternates to various agencies and organizations. I know that there is there any Enrique, is there any urgency in passing all of these today?
There's no urgency as if it must happen today kind of urgency, Mayor. If a 2-week continuation would be fine timing wise, if that's what you were considering.
Yeah, because I know there is some on here where Councilwoman Avila is the main representative. This way we get everybody in here and we're able to discuss the positions. If anybody wants to hold on to theirs, anybody wants to switch. Are there any comments from council?
I'm fine with waiting as well, Mayor.
I'm okay with moving it over.
Okay. There's no other comments, then I will make a motion to move this item to the next city council meeting, the third Wednesday of February. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayala,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. Thank you for that, City Clerk. So we are at the adoption and approval of ordinance number 1500 to establish the Measure BP Stakeholders Oversight Committee, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the attached ordinance to establish the Measure BP Stakeholders Oversight Committee. Enrique, you want to give us a little bit of an overview over the committee?
Yes, Mayor. And I want to also just quickly refresh everyone's memory that this is a pledge that the City Council had made as the Measure BP was proposed at the time only as a measure and for consideration ultimately by the voters. And the pledge was that if Measure BP was approved, that the City Council would immediately and quickly assemble a group of representatives from the city, residents of the city, to then provide oversight functions on how the money is to be invested, a list of priorities, or be tasked with the prioritization of investments, not just in the type of investments, but the timing of the investments as well. Knowing that Measure BP now, with it being approved, will be bringing in an estimated revenue of just under $7 million or around $7 million a year. It's important then for the City Council to have a committee, as you had pledged, that will provide a review of proposed investments, try to address needs that are a priority to the community, and provide advice to the City Council on when and how to approve investments to be made from the revenue derived from the Measure BP, which, as I said earlier, would be roughly $7 million a year. Also, the committee will be tasked with recommendations such as, should we go on a pay-as-you-go basis, meaning cash investment basis only, or can we leverage by borrowing money? That way we're able to do things more quickly and in a larger impact, a larger project, depending on what this committee will be recommending to the City Council. If a project ends up being a sizable project, anything over $15-20 million, likely could potentially be more suitable to do financing and be able to carry out the project. But that's the kind of stuff that this committee will be tasked with reviewing and discussing, and then providing a recommendation to the City Council. We're recommending that it be made up of 7 members. At the moment, the proposed draft agenda recommends that requires that all 7 members be residents of the city of Baldwin Park. We stayed away from requiring that 7 members be voters of the city of Baldwin Park, and that way it provides the opportunity for all residents of the city of Baldwin Park. Right now, it does require that it be a resident, meaning that the person to be appointed be residing in the city of Baldwin Park at the time of appointment. That is something that the City Council can definitely deliberate on today if you feel that that requirement is fair and that it does require residency in the city of Baldwin Park. 7 members, 4 of whom would come from specific sectors. 1 would be the school district sector, 1 would be the nonprofit organization, and 1 would be from a member of the clergy. And 3 would be at large, just residents of the city, making up the 7. I know I'm missing a 4th one. The what? Youth, thank you. Or an arts organization. So those are the prescribed requirements. We are presenting it to you as a first draft. If the council were to choose to approve it as is right now, then it would be a first reading. If the council provides us with revisions, changes, or slight different direction, then we would then revise and bring it back for another first consideration. And this does have a timing importance because we want to definitely get going with assembling the committee. My office is being tasked with providing the support of the committee, including agenda development, procedural aspects, staffing, support, supplies, and things of that nature, along with the city clerk. So you're not off the hook, Mr. City Clerk. And so there is a timing importance in this because, the measure got passed in November. I know it was a priority for the city council to assemble the committee as quickly as possible, which is why we're bringing the draft ordinance for your consideration.
So I think the only thing would be, the most important part would be all members shall serve at the pleasure of the city council. So I think it might be best to term, at the very least, term, so that way more people have the opportunity to apply and serve. Because right now it's on a continuous basis, right? They can be here for the whole time.
We have 4-year terms, I believe. Let's see.
Is there a term limit?
There is a term. Yeah, 4-year terms.
4-year terms. Would it be better to make them 2-year terms?
I don't think a 2-year term is going to be long enough, Mayor, because some of the projects that they may be working on to bring may not get developed in the 2-year term. I think it would be fair to do a 4-year term.
Okay.
And then also keep in mind that the selection are not going to be handpicked by the city council. The intent is to do a lottery selection. So that way it's fair as to who we select for this committee. One of the suggestions that I do have, and I don't know what you guys think of, but where it must be residents of the city of Baldwin Park at the time of appointment. I don't see a problem with that, especially if it's going to be, a member of our youth sports or arts organization. I know we have a lot in the city of Baldwin Park. We have 3 members at large. The only ones that I'm concerned with are the member that would be duly ordained member of the clergy, or a member representing the Baldwin Park Unified School District, and maybe even possibly a member representing a duly organized nonprofit organization. Sometimes, members of the clergy have their church here in Baldwin Park, but they don't reside here. Or example, members of the Baldwin Park Unified School District, sometimes even though they're here, they may not live here. Or even nonprofit organizations. I think those may be a little bit more difficult to fill if we require that they're Baldwin Park residents. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I see your point. I think, would it be possible to at least limit nonprofits to nonprofits that are serving in the Baldwin Park area or the San Gabriel Valley?
Yeah, what we would want, obviously the nonprofit, we would want them to service Baldwin Park because
they can be like a regular staff, doesn't have to be a resident.
Exactly. We just don't, we want, for example, even if the person who is on the committee representing the nonprofit organization, even if they're not a resident of Baldwin Park, the nonprofit needs to be in Baldwin Park. Same as with the clergy. Even if, the pastor, whoever it may be, does not reside in Baldwin Park, their church has to be in Baldwin Park. There's got to be some type of tie to the city.
Okay, but it could be any employee or staff of the nonprofit.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone is welcome to apply. Again, the selection process would be fair to do a lottery. That would be one of the fairest ways to do it, to select the committee members.
Right. And then, so what about the, I know we said clergy, so is it specifically only the clergy, like the clergyman, like the pastor, the reverend, or can it be anybody in the kind of administrative portion of the church?
Right now, it requires that the member be a duly ordained minister or pastor or priest, whichever, however the person is designated in the particular church, but that it be the ordained member.
Okay, that's fine. And then I know Councilmember Damien, you touched on the lottery portion, which I think it makes it really fair, and I think that's really important with transparency. And then, so that's part B, and then subsequent. So portion C says all subsequent appointments to the committee shall be made by a motion approved by 3 affirmative votes of the city council at a public meeting. So we will only be putting people in through a lottery system for the inception of it. And then after, we're going into voting them in.
I think we would have to revise that because there would be no reason it would be pointless for us to appoint them initially through a lottery system. And then once their 4-year term is over, we go back to selecting or handpicking them. I think that we should remain a lottery system for anyone that's going to be on the committee, because that's going to be, it's going to be from what we've heard out there in the community meetings, we don't want these people to be selected or handpicked by the city council. One of the biggest things was transparency and accountability. And they were giving the impression that, well, you guys selected them, they're going to do what you want type of deal. And we don't want to give that impression. So I think the best thing to do is every time we're going to select a new committee member, we do it by a lottery selection.
I see. So any vacancy, whenever it becomes vacant, whether it's by end of term or by someone resigning midterm or at any time during the term, that vacancy be filled by another similar lottery selection.
Yes, I think that would be the best way to move forward, period, because again, we want to take it away from the city council, from us handpicking or appointing any committee member to this committee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention on. I just want to make sure. And then is there any terms in here as to if somebody's missing more than 3 or consecutively, are they still in? Are they out at some point?
If there's consecutive absences, and no, we don't have language.
Okay.
In
Is that
that
something
you
you
want us to add
consider?
something like that?
Yeah, I think we should add something like that. If they're not, I think if they miss, what's a fair 3 consecutive meetings?
I think once you miss 3 consecutive meetings, I think you're not very involved. I mean, how often are these meetings going to be happening?
So right now it has it on an as-needed basis, but I envision them being no less frequently than quarterly. So quarterly.
I mean, you missed 3 quarters. That's pretty hefty. Okay, that should be fine.
I have a comment to make about this. I agree with, the way it's written and everything like that, and especially acknowledging the lottery system and the fairness of that. My only concern is, and I don't have a problem with the 4 years either. The only thing is 4 years, you got a new batch, 4 years, a brand new batch. So where's, that kind of overlapping kind of knowledgeable person and, bringing in newbies. So that's something we might want to consider. So kind of like on here, we've always got somebody who has that experience of both working.
Staggering the terms.
Exactly. So that might be something we might want to also consider,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
It doesn't sound like we're going to pass it today. So maybe staff or council we have time.
Yeah.
And kind of come up with how we're going to pick what gets staggered in the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
You even do it by lottery system as well if you want. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that we have some staggered positions. Okay.
Yes.
Mayor, I'd also like to ask that we foresee any problems with any of the members on this oversight committee and know how to manage through that. Like, not just if they miss, but let's say if, you know, they no longer have a stake in the city of Baldwin Park, for example. You know, there have been some instances in the past where somebody has been appointed to a committee while holding a position, but then actually has moved out, but has been able to keep that position because of, you know, ambiguity. So I think it would be important for us to really clearly define parameters of, you know, what qualifies you for a stakeholder. And if there's any change in that status, what does that look like? You know, and then who would be, like, would it be the city council? Would it be the board, the oversight committee itself that would take up, you know, the item and determine whether somebody should be removed? Like, I think that's important for the accountability too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
Yeah, so, okay. Is there any other notes or comments that we can add before?
On the residency requirement, Councilmember Damian, did you also include the representative of the school district to be possibly a non-resident?
Yeah, so I would recommend that we do 3. The member of the clergy be a non-resident, or doesn't have to be a non-resident.
Right.
Member of the Baldwin Park Unified School District, and a member representing a nonprofit.
Okay.
I think those 3 categories do not have to be non-residents. The residents, great, better. But if they're not, then it's not a requirement. I think we should leave it a requirement that they be Baldwin Park residents if they are from the youth sports or arts organization. Because we do have a lot here in the city. And then also the 3 members at large that have to be residents of the city.
Okay.
Councilmember Damian, what do you think about giving the applicants, you know, as if they're interested applicants for this committee, giving them the choice to decide if they do a 2-year or 4-year? Because some people may be able to do 2 years, but not 4 years. So, you know, that may discourage them from serving.
That's a good option, because that way also before we put it in the lottery system, Enrique, when we go through the applications or the applicants, we can address the staggering that Councilmember Ayala mentioned. Because if we do have, let's just say 3 members that prefer to do 2 years and 4 members that want to do 4 years, and that's how we get them on there, that'll be perfect, because 3 of them will be selected again in 2 years, and we'll still have 4 members there for another 2-year term.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes. Yeah, we follow both of you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Okay, good. Yeah, just lend some flexibility.
All right. We have some pretty clear and lengthy
Mayor?
direction for staff to look into.
Mayor, can I suggest something real quick?
Sure.
So I'm hearing how you guys are want to suggest everything regarding the committee. What if you guys require that the organizations that are participating be 4-year terms, but the residents can alternate every 2 years? So you have a circulation of residents participating on the committee.
Yeah, that could be something to consider. We can,
Suggestion.
yeah, we can take into consideration all the suggestions, and then staff will bring them all back.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to move this item to the next city council meeting on the 3rd Wednesday of February with some, bring it back with the amendments and recommendations. Can I get a second?
Second?
The clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Damian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayala.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Great. Thank you for that, City Clerk. So we do not have any business as, so we do go down to City Council, City Clerk, City Treasurer, staff requests and communications. I didn't put anything in here, but I did want to ask staff to try and find, if we can find some grant funding to light up the darker areas in the city. I definitely think we need to prioritize Hilda El Solis Park, especially as we're getting ready to make that an entryway into the newest bike trail, along with the multitude of parks. So if we can find some grant funding or specific funding for something like that, that would be really beneficial for all of us. And then, you know, last year I know that we tried to bring in some murals, and I know that we didn't have the funding, so we can find potentially funding or grants for some public garden murals. That would be, I think, beneficial for all of us, especially as we look to develop the downtown. Is there any comments or questions from council? Sorry, I have one more. I think last year, under the Housing Authority, we gave direction to explore the idea of expanding McNeil Manor. And I know that council is very fond of our property, and I know that we want to make sure that we hold on to it so we can explore ways where we can increase our housing opportunities for our seniors at McNeil Manor while maintaining the property. I think that would be a very beneficial conversation to have. And that's it from me. Is there any other comments from council?
Mayor, if I may, can I make a few comments?
Yes, go ahead.
So at a time where I guess public dialogue and discourse towards police isn't very favorable nationwide, I just wanted to take an opportunity in the public forum to express my, I guess, how proud I am of the men and women of the Baldwin Park Police Department. Overall, especially Monday, I happened to be stuck in traffic on my way to work, and I regularly see Officer Izzo making his rounds around the city. But this particular time that I was in traffic, I saw him approach one of our unhoused neighbors with just such grace and dignity, and it just kind of made me proud of that interaction and how our officers are treating our unhoused with like the utmost respect and care for their dignity. And then, so commute to work, very happy. And then later on work, get a call from my son, lockdown. So on that side, I also want to thank the Baldwin Park Police Department for keeping our kiddos safe. I know that it was a time of lots of emotions, but everything turned out well. So thank you so much, Chief.
That's a very important point. Thank you for bringing that up. And, you know, I do want to acknowledge our PD and our city staff, and acknowledge that, you know, it is turbulent times in the world of law enforcement and community rights. And I think we've really staff has made some great strides. I know, Chief, you're working on the police vehicles, and I know that they're coming with a lot of transparency. Do you want to just kind of give us a sneak peek on that? And I think it's a...
Yes, sir. As we speak, they are outfitting our vehicles with digital in-car video, so that when the officers activate the emergency lights, it activates not only the camera, but also it activates the camera in the vehicle, the body-worn camera, and the camera in the vehicle as well. So anytime the officers remove the shotgun or a less lethal shotgun, that also activates all cameras in the vehicle.
And that's not something that I think our residents are aware of, but it's really important to show them that, you know, behind the scenes, we are doing everything we can to be transparent and better that relationship. And you know, and our police department doesn't really have that good relationship with our unhoused. You know, they were very supportive of our of the tiny homes. I know Sergeant Wenner is out there, and now we have Officer Izzo, and I think that we are on the right path, and we are setting an example for other agencies. So I want to thank you for that leadership, Chief.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Seeing that nobody else has any comments, we will adjourn. Well, we can't adjourn. We have to go back to... Oh, yeah. So we are going to adjourn the regular meeting and reconvene in closed session. So thank you, everybody. At this moment, I will move to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any objections? If not, good night, everybody.
Just for the benefit of the public, we do not expect any reportable action on the last remaining closed session item.
For the report on the last closed session item.